Hey everybody, so today I'm going to start part one of a quick mini series on a topic that is critical for anybody who is considering homeschooling or who is already homeschooling. And that topic is confidence. Why is it so critical and why do so many people struggle with it? Here's the thing. As with anything in life that's worth doing, you're going to have lots of opportunities to second guess yourself, to question your decision, to wonder if you're doing the best thing, especially when you're going against a societal norm to do it. And somehow in our day, sending our kids off to traditional school has become the accepted norm. And more parents nowadays are rising up and saying, no, we opt out of the norm. We are not sending our kids to these schools to be taught values that don't line up with our values, to be taught inferior academics, to be burdened with homework all evening and have school basically controlling the majority of their lives. We're not okay with the toxic social climate that has become so pervasive in both public and private schools. We are saying we're done, we're out. You can have that without us because our kids deserve better. However, anytime you take that stand, you're going to have the opportunity to have your confidence shaken if you're not prepared. So let's talk about how to build a foundation that remains unshakable even in the face of the unknown as you take the deep dive into the world of homeschooling. What I want to focus on in this video today is just identifying 4 obstacles to your confidence. I think that it's important to just be aware of the things that are going to try to shake your confidence, and that sometimes is half the battle to overcoming those things. The first obstacle to your confidence as a homeschooling parent is peer pressure. I know we like to talk to our kids about peer pressure and how to overcome it, but we have to deal with that ourselves as well. Why? Because again, when you go against society's norm, you're going to have those raised eyebrows, the people who are like, why? Why? You think you can do better than the schools? Well, are you a certified teacher? What qualifies you to teach your child? And you know what? Go ahead and be prepared for that, because there are going to be parents who may become indignant when they find out that you've chosen something else for your child. And of course, you can communicate that it's not that you think you're better than. It's not even about that. It's about choosing the path that you believe is right for your child. Now, sometimes it won't come off in those indignant ways. Thankfully, I haven't encountered that very much in my 11 years of homeschooling. But what it may come off as is well-meaning family members who have great intentions and they are truly concerned for the well-being of your child because you've chosen to keep them at home. So they may ask you questions, and you just need to be prepared to explain, be okay with the fact that you don't know everything. You don't have to be able to come back at every question with a rock solid answer. Some things, it's okay that you don't know, but you just have to be sure in your confidence that this is what I'm doing for the good of my child. And even if people question that, and even if they seem to have good reasons for questioning that, I'm not going to let that peer pressure push me out of a decision that I have made genuinely for the sake of my child. So be prepared to deal with peer pressure when it comes. Sometimes it comes unexpectedly, just from someone in a casual conversation. Sometimes it comes in those more serious conversations, like with family members. Either way, as long as you're grounded in why you're doing this, which is something we're going to talk about in the next video, you're going to be in a place to be able to maintain your confidence in the face of peer pressure. Obstacle number 2, questioning your own abilities. I hear this from parents more often than not. Parents who want to homeschool their children, but they feel that they themselves are just not qualified to teach them. Let me tell you, you don't need a degree in education to be able to teach your child. Now, sure, if you want to go out and teach a classroom of 20 children from 20 different families and backgrounds, then maybe it's good to get a little training on how to handle a group like that. But when you're teaching your own children in the privacy of your own home, and you're choosing the material and the structure and the methods, why do you need a degree for that? I didn't get a degree before I became a mom. Nobody told me I needed to go to school to learn how to start raising my child. There are things that are put in you because you're a parent. You know what to do. Now, you may argue, but academically, I wasn't that good in school. I get that. I hear you and I understand. However, we live in a day and age where all of the information in the world is at our fingertips. And if there's ever a time when parents should feel well equipped to homeschool their children, it's now. Anytime you hit something academically that you're not sure about, it is quick and easy to find those answers, to get help, either from a Google search or from getting on a chat group, a Facebook group with some other parents, sometimes even with the teachers who wrote the curriculum you're using. And you can get feedback, you can get explanations, you can get help. You are not alone. Gone are the days of what homeschool used to be. I'm telling you, homeschool has changed. The homeschool of today is not what the homeschool of yesterday was. So if you're questioning your own abilities, I invite you to stop. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to be a certified teacher. There is so much that you can do just with the resources available to you. So let's put that obstacle aside of questioning our own abilities. Let's move on to the third one. What's another obstacle that tries to shake our confidence? Really, just a lack of information. There are so many parents who are considering homeschooling and want to take the plunge, but honestly have no idea where to start. That lack of information can paralyze you before you even start. So I'm here to help release you from that, to help release you from the unknown and to give you solid information for how to get started in homeschooling. You check out some of my other videos, I've already got tips out there for that, but I'm also rolling out a course very, very soon called Homeschool Crash Course. And it's literally going to take you by the hand and help walk you through everything you need to know to help you make the decisions. It's not me making the decisions for you. It's not me saying, here's what you have to do. It's me explaining to you the process so that you can make the decisions that work for you and your child. So a lack of information oftentimes stops people before they start. Now, the fourth obstacle may seem to be a bit divergent from the other three, but I feel like it's extremely important to acknowledge and to hit head on. That obstacle is the obstacle of nostalgia. You say, what in the world does that have to do with confidence? It has a lot more to do with it than you think. You know, my husband and I decided to homeschool our children when our oldest child of the four was only 4 years old. So we have only homeschooled them for the last 11 years. Our children have never been in public school or private school. Contrary to that, my husband grew up going through a private school from which he graduated. I actually had a pretty mixed experience. I had 1 year of homeschool, but all the rest of the years for me were split between public schools and private schools. So most of our experience was a traditional school setting. So to put our children in homeschool from the beginning was really a new paradigm for us too. And many times throughout the years, I cannot tell you how many times the thoughts have entered into my mind, well, am I robbing my kids of that experience at school? Am I robbing them of social opportunities, of memories that I cherish that I would want them to make? You know, I've known of parents who really struggled with the idea of homeschooling just because their child wouldn't have a traditional prom. There are things that we experienced in school that maybe we hold dear to our hearts. They were good memories, passing notes in between classes, you know, waiting outside your locker for your best friend to come by, whatever the case may be. There were many positive experiences that made good, impressionable memories in our hearts and our minds. So it's natural for us to want to replicate those good memories for our children. Here's the kicker. The only problem, what we had doesn't exist anymore. And even what we had, if we looked back without the rose colored glasses, we would be able to see it wasn't perfect, right? It had its flaws as well. But even the really great experiences, those memories that we find ourselves longing to pass on to our kids, the schools are not the same. Whether it's public school or private school, the pressures have increased, the social pressures have intensified, the academics in a lot of school systems have plummeted since we were in school. That's not even to mention the things that our kids would have to be aware of that we never had to be aware of. I graduated long before 9/11. I never had to worry about terrorist attacks when I was in school. I graduated before mass shootings. We had never heard of a school shooting when I was in school. Our kids these days have to deal with a level of fear or preparedness for certain situations that we never had to think about. That's not even bringing up the politically charged climate in so many of our schools now, where elusive school boards and lawmakers are deciding content for your child to be taught without your input or your approval. And there are things that are happening in schools and through school endorsed programs right now that many parents are objecting to. We have to keep perspective here that even though that nostalgia is going to creep in and say, oh, but it would be so wonderful if, we have to be realistic that what we had has totally changed. Now, you may say that's totally negative and pessimistic of you. Please hear my heart. That is not what I'm trying to be. But it hit me hard when I realized that I was continually struggling with this confidence shaker of nostalgia. And finally, one day, I woke up and realized even if I sent my kids to school, it wouldn't be the same. But here's the flip side of that, and here's where we get positive. While we cannot offer our children the same things that we had when we were kids, we can offer them new and better memories and experiences than we had. By homeschooling, we have opened up a world of opportunities to go and explore things either in our city or outside of our city, road trips, field trips, various experiences that I never had when I was a kid. There are new opportunities now that my husband and I are presenting our children with that are totally different, but equally or even more valuable than the ones that we had in public and private school. So at the end of the day, there are no regrets. I am thankful that we have made this choice to homeschool our children. I don't look at other people and say that, oh, well, they're doing something wrong because they've chosen to put their child in school. No, I applaud any and every parent who is actively overseeing their child's education. And if they have chosen public school or private school or charter school or whatever the case may be, because they feel that's in the best interest of their child, I applaud them. This is not about exalting homeschool as the one and only answer, but it is about opening it up as an option in our minds when we have been conditioned to think otherwise by society's version of normal. So just identifying those 4 obstacles can go a long way in securing your confidence as you make the decision to either homeschool for the first time or to continue homeschooling. Just go ahead and stare those obstacles right in the face and be ready for them. Peer pressure, questioning my own abilities, lack of information, nostalgia. No, you're not going to have my confidence. I'm going to stand firmly in my decision that I know I'm doing what's best for my children, and I'm not going to let self-doubt or anyone else's doubt come in and hinder me. I hope this has been beneficial for you. Stay tuned for the next video where we're going to start talking about the 5 keys to unshakable confidence in starting your homeschool. The obstacles and the keys to confidence that we've discussed in this mini series are all available in my ebook. You can get your free download of that PDF at wiserhomeschool.com today. I'll see you in the next video.